Hello, got one of my favourite trees here. It's a little hawthorn. It's got some really nice movement, covered in wire. The wire's biting in, so some of that wire has to be taken off, so let's get to it. So that's the wire off. It's got some nice shape, it's held it well. This had a fairly major cut at the back, and then I'm allowing this side branch to go into the new leader. This is ultimately going, I think, to be the new apex, and I'm going to remove probably this section. So I'm letting that just grow for the moment, but these I don't want to become too vigorous, definitely not. So I'll just prune these back. This one that comes around here, just to keep them in check really, because, you know, otherwise they'll thicken up and it'll become too much of a broom style with everything emanating from that sort of one point. And I don't want that. I want this to be more of an elegant tree, with this becoming the main leader. So there's not much more to do with that. Put it back in the garden and let it rip. We're at that time of year now where the wire's really biting in, so I thought it's time to look at some other of my hawthorns, get the wire off, and, you know, before it marks too heavily. So this is 6mm wire, it needs to come off. Right down at the base here, we've got a branch which I think needs to come out. So I think I'm going to put some wire on this and just start it moving. This bud above it I won't need, so that can go. And I'll just have to be careful in wiring this. Yeah, let's get it down there like that. In terms of the future of this tree, I see this as the new leader up here. But for the meantime, I want to leave this on to grow, just to thicken the trunk up. It's got some nice movement in it now, and I can just leave this. Like, I've already added wire to that to bring it back into position. The rest of it doesn't matter, so this can just go back in the garden for the year now. It's turning into a definite hawthorn video. Got another tree here. It's got some quite nice movement to it, this. It's got 2 pieces of 4mm wire adding that movement, and before I unwire it, I'll just show you the base, which I think is quite nice. It's got a nice root just coming here, and it sort of flares out a bit, and there's a root at the back as well, so I think it's got some good potential, that to be quite a nice compact small tree. So this is the major structural wire to create the real future of this tree, and I don't mind that it's bitten in a bit, because hawthorn do heal, and they do hopefully in the future have somewhat of a craggy bark, and I'd rather get it set properly now in position. You know, this will heal up, no worries, and you know, it's a tree for the future, something that's one of my best potential trees, I think, in terms of looking forward. I like that. It's definitely got some nice three-dimensional movement to it, this tree now. And in the future, I see this, possibly this here, becoming the new leader. That's what I would expect, to sort of continue it round, or possibly this thinner one here, but this will definitely be going. Now, are there any more to dig up? Let's go and see. Got another small hawthorn here. I don't think I thought this was going to survive because it didn't have much root, but it's doing okay. I put some wire on it. Let's get it off. I already chopped the top off this one, and it's got 2 branches coming up from the top. I need to select one of them as the apex, and I'm just undecided really on which one I want to go with at the moment. I think it'll be this one coming out here. There we go, that's job done. This is a very contorted hawthorn. I really went crazy on it with the wire. It's come up, down, round. It's beginning to bite in, so time to get the wire off. It's probably not bitten in as much as some of the others, this one. I don't think it's been on quite as long. But even so, I'm not that bothered because it's such a contorted shape. If it loses a bit of that contortion, I'm okay with that. Again, you know, I do prefer to uncoil the wire. I seem to be able to do it fairly easily without really damaging the branches. So he says as he gets to one that he can't get off. But you know, I don't seem to have too much trouble. I've knocked the odd bud off here and there, but to be honest, it seems to be a fairly decent way of getting it off. A lot quicker as well than cutting it all down. Although I'm reaching a point now where this has got to go. So basically what I just said, forget about it. I've decided to just cut all this off. It's quite thick actually, this wire. And it does take a bit of cutting. I'll have to get my proper wire cutters out, I think. Where are they? They're around here somewhere, I know that. There they are. So these have got the round end to protect the tree. So the bark doesn't, the idea is the bark doesn't get damaged as you cut it off. It can be a bit difficult if you've got a double roll of wire as I've got here, because it can be hard to kind of get them in. But it's definitely holding the shape, this tree. Yeah, this is the best method for this wire. It would just have been too fiddly. I think I would have disturbed the roots. I can see even doing this wire, I'm already disturbing the roots a bit. And although this was a nothing of a plant that was almost a throwaway little nothing seedling, by the time you've grown it for a period and put some wire on it and watered it and these type things, they do become, you know, they begin to have a bit of a meaning to you. I'll go back to these snippers and just try and cut all the way up the back like that. There we go. I'll just try and get the piece of wire out of the bottom, because I don't want that potentially affecting the growth in the future if I forgot about it, acting like a tourniquet around the trunk. So that's good. That's all the wire removed. It's a very young tree, and you can see it's not quite held the full position that I put it in, but that's fine. That's why I kind of overdid it on the bend, so that when I release the wire, it sort of straightens up a bit, and that becomes more of a realistic position for it. What we've got here is a hawthorn that was just a skinny straight seedling sapling last year, and I've added this movement into the trunk, and I pruned it and added some wire to these branches to add some movement to them. This year I don't plan on adding any wire. I plan on just holding it back by pruning it, sort of the clip and grow technique. So I'm now just going to prune all this back. We've got a nice branch here. It's got some nice, as I say, movement added from the wire, but I don't want that to go crazy thick, so I'm just going to keep these in check, and that's good. That'll just stop it really going crazy and thickening up. Likewise, this one behind it, taking off that big long shoot, and just really stopping these branches becoming too powerful for the design, because I don't see, you know, these are not trunks, they're just branches, and I want to keep them relatively sort of thin. And this is a good example of a nice branch. It's the primary first branch, but again, I don't want it to develop too thick. This has come off nicely here. I'll just keep that back like that. In fact, I'm going to take that one back a little further. Lovely. I love this kind of job. It's so peaceful. Just taking my time. I've got a fresh branch there. I'll leave that because I want that to develop a bit. I've got a couple of buds here. They're right sort of on the, this one's okay, but this higher one is sort of on the inside of the bend. I'll just nip that off with my fingers. This is a bit of an arty final frame using the hawthorn out of focus in the front. Why not? Why do it? Because I can. I hope you've enjoyed this video today, where I'm just doing some basic spring work on my hawthorn trees. It's just kind of normal standard bonsai type stuff. This is what I love. So thanks for joining me. If you want to see how these trees develop, as always, hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon.